Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Miracle. Me for short. If this is the first time you see my beautiful face, you're welcome. So our today's video is from Thomas Sowell. You see, Thomas Sowell on the rise in anti-Semitism around the world. Like, wow, anti-Semitism. I don't really know the meaning of that word, but after this, I'll go check it out. Let me In case you do know the meaning of this word, please do let me know in the comment section. Let's check this video out.
And most people, when they have a choice between hating others and hating themselves, they hate others.
You have a chapter, that's the first chapter is black rednecks and white liberals. The second chapter is Are Jews Generic? Why the jump from black rednecks and white liberals to Are Jews Generic? What's the point?
Well, this book is really about ethnic and cultural issues in general. So there's a chapter on the Jews, there's a chapter on the Germans, and then there's a chapter on history in general. So they're lumped together because they're all cultural ethnic issues. We move on to the Jews simply because it's a fascinating story. Because among the middleman minorities, of which the Jews are the most prominent, the hostility to these people in countries around the world is out of all proportion to that, to any other kind of group I can think of. In terms of violence, the number of Chinese killed, let's say, in 1 year, and by mob action, exceeds all the blacks lynched in the entire history of the United States. And the number of Armenians killed in Turkey, during the First World War, is greater than that. And of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions in history, even before the Holocaust, is greater than that. So that the question is, why this particular kind of people are the targets of so much venomous hatred? And I think the answer is that they not only succeed, they succeed in a way which is the threat to the egos of other people. That is, you can envy a Rockefeller, but he's no threat to your ego, because you say, listen, anybody can be rich if he's born a Rockefeller. But the guy who comes here, let's say from Vietnam or Korea, and arrives here with little more than the clothes on his back and a few words of broken English, and a decade later, he has his own little business, and you see his son a few years after that getting ready to go off to Harvard or MIT. You've got to ask yourself, you either got to, you've got to hate yourself for saying, my God, I've been stagnating. This guy was nothing, and now he's risen up. Or you're going to have to hate him. And most people, when they have a choice between hating others and hating themselves, they hate others.
Where does the hatred for the Jews come from in history?
Number of places, but
Like, seriously?
they are people who have succeeded an awful lot in the midst of other people who have not. Years ago, one official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, well, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? And I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
So the source is success.
It's not only the
hatred.
success, it's the success starting in poverty, as the Jews did in the United
Guys,
States.
stop
and many
hating
other
on
countries.
people. It doesn't
And so
do well.
you not only
Stop
see them
hating on
succeed, you see them
people.
rise
Not
up
only the Jews, stop
from
hating
the
on
bottom,
people.
past other people, and the people they've passed don't like it. But there's also the fact that the role they play economically has never been understood. They're middlemen or they're money lenders, and the argument is they really aren't producing anything. You can't see anything tangible, that they don't stand at a production line turning out widgets. And so the argument is that they're not producing anything. They're simply gratuitously inserting themselves between the producer and the consumer, and they're parasites, essentially. And this argument has been made, again, not only about the Jews, but about similar groups around the world. And in a number of places, they have expelled those people or forced them out by mob actions, forced them to flee. And after they've left, the economy has collapsed. But it never teaches the lesson that, no, they were doing something.
According to a history of the Jews in the United States, staggering numbers of Jews in the decades before and after the Civil War first experienced America through peddling, which became the nearly universal American Jewish male experience. While Jewish peddlers worked as isolated individuals, their supplies came from a wider network. Each peddler functioned in a long Jewish economic chain, linking shopkeepers to Jewish wholesalers in the larger cities on whom they depended for credit. The Jewish peddler on the road served as the agent of the Jewish town shopkeeper and the big city jobber. This trading network depended on intracommunal trust. Wholesaler and peddler understood each other, spoke the same language, and knew the same people. Jewish wholesalers in port cities from New York to San Francisco supplied Jewish peddlers with merchandise which they carried on their backs into the hinterlands, to farmers, miners, railroad crews, and others working far from the big cities, and often in places where there were few or no stores. Peddlers, of course, also worked in cities and in every region of the country, from the southern plantations to the California mining camps where Levi Strauss first began to sell the rugged trousers that were to make his name famous. While Jewish peddlers often worked in isolation among a non-Jewish population, they were nevertheless tied to a wider Jewish community, not only by commercial ties to Jewish wholesalers and manufacturers, but also to family members in Europe and America. They often saved money to pay for transatlantic passage for relatives in Europe to come and join them. These savings at some point also allowed the peddler to set up a little shop in town, settle down, get married, and raise a family. The wives and children then worked in the same little business. Often the Jewish shopkeeper or other small businessmen and his family lived above or behind the store. Milton Friedman's family lived this way when he was growing up, a pattern that he described as common among the immigrants to America in that era. Yet this pattern was by no means confined to Jews or to America. Similar economic and social patterns could be found among the Lebanese in Sierra Leone and among other middlemen minorities in other parts of the world. The overseas Chinese storekeeper in the Philippines was likewise willing to live in a small corner of his store. As among the Jews, Lebanese children were initiated into their family businesses in the United States, as were the children of other middleman minorities in other countries.
Wow, guys, Thomas Sowell may be very well be the most, like, I don't really know what to say. He might be the most honest. I love the way he's so honest. I love his objective and the way he sees human life, the way he's rational about human life entirely. And when it comes to the Jews, I think what sets the difference of the Jews, like what sets the Jewish people apart, or what's the difference between us and them, is that they are so organized in whatever they are doing, and they are so committed to their tradition, guys. Yes, like I don't really know for now, but what I see and how I see them, what I watch, yeah, they are so committed in whatever they are doing, and they are so organized and so focused. They also follow the same scripts, like everything they do is just the same accordance in orderliness. I should say success breeds success. It's something worth to be emulated, and not to throw hate here and here. It's not even good in general. It's not even good to hate one another, even in families too. Living together, you see some of them hating on each other. Like, it doesn't make sense. Hate don't bring food on the table. Hate don't do anything on our body. So what is there for us to be hating apart from the Jewish? I'm a Christian. I don't hate the Jewish. In short, I see them as one, brothers and sisters. Like, that's how I see them. We are one, brothers and sisters. That's just how I see them. Even in Nigeria here, so there are some of them that hate themselves. So what I would say is that we should not hate ourselves. Hate brings nothing. And I just love the way Thomas Sowell just summarized everything in this thing. Like, gosh, I'm beginning to learn and get enough of wisdom from Thomas Sowell. Like, I cannot get enough of him. Thomas Sowell is so good at what he does. He's so knowledgeable. Like, he has wisdom. He's full of wisdom in his brains. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Like, watch, and subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.